But we also have different ways in which we need to do our jobs. So in that sense, I think they're both very similar. I just wanted to start first by saying it's such a pleasure to see so many different parts of DHS all gathered together. I think that also reflects that we're all one team, that we have to work together, bringing all of our capabilities, capacities, and different authority sets together to fight the fight together. And I also want to thank you. So one of my priorities, as you know, as your secretary, is to put employees first. And to me, that means two different things. One, I will always be your advocate. You will always have my commitment to fight for what you need, whether that is
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Please be seated. Good morning and welcome. My name is Gloria Chavez. I'm the Chief Patrol Agent here at the El Centro Sector. It gives me great honor and pleasure to introduce today and welcome today our Secretary of Homeland Security, Ms. Kirsten Nielsen. Madam Secretary.
Well, good morning. It's my pleasure to be here. I was just in San Francisco talking about cyber threats. And it might not seem on its face that there's anything in common between that and what you do.
Today, and welcome today, our Secretary of Homeland Security, Ms. Kirsten Nielsen. Madam Secretary.
Well, good morning. It's my pleasure to be here. I was just in San Francisco talking about cyber threats. And it might not seem on its face that there's anything in common between that and what you do. But what is common is not only they're both core threats that we face in the homeland, but I think they're both representative of how the threat is emerging. So when we think about cyber, there's a lot new there. There's a lot of different ways in which our adversaries are trying to attack us. And when we think of what you do every day, we have lots of different threats. We have increases in numbers, both in drugs, TCO activity. Is that now on? Apologies if it wasn't before. But we also have different ways in which we need to do our jobs. So in that sense, I think they're both very similar. I just wanted to start first by saying it's such a pleasure to see so many different parts of DHS all gathered together. I think that also reflects that we're all one team, that we have to work together, bringing all of our capabilities, capacities, and different authority sets together to fight the fight together. And I also want to thank you. So one of my priorities, as you know, as your secretary, is to put employees first. And to me, that means two different things. One, I will always be your advocate. You will always have my commitment to fight for what you need, whether that is authority, resources, or tools, to do. Agent Martinez. I mention him because of something his father said on his passing that I wanted to mention today. He said he often spoke to his son about how dangerous his job was, and Agent Martinez would repeatedly say back, "Dad, it's the job I like. I went to defend my country from terrorists. I went to prevent terrorists and drugs from coming into this country." Such simple words, and yet it reflects not only the dangers you face every day, but the enormity of the challenges that we face. So I thank Agent Martinez's family, and I thank all of your families for the sacrifices that they make and that you make every day to keep us all safe. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the problem that you know so well, but just to put it in a perspective from where I sit in Washington. What we see at the border is different. And many of you have been doing this job for quite some time, and you'd be able to add many, many sentences after that to what's different. But the Congress to try to close some of these legal loopholes, which sounds like a fancy phrase, but what it really means is after you catch somebody, whether that is a hardened criminal or smuggler or whether it's a family seeking asylum, when they come here illegally and you interdict them, if we do not then have the authority and the ability to detain and to remove them, we don't have border security and you can't do your job. So what we're trying to do is work with Congress to close these loopholes that prohibit us from doing those other parts of the equation. It's not just the interdiction. We have to be able to detain. We need the resources to do that, but we have to be able to promptly remove. And that's actually fair to everyone involved in the system. The system is broken when it takes years and years and years for an immigrant to find out their fate, if they're allowed to stay, if they're allowed to receive asylum, if they have the ability to adjust status. The backload in the cases is something that we're also looking to address. So you have my commitment, you have the President's commitment. We will continue to work with Congress, but in the meantime, we will take all steps that we can do within the executive branch to empower you to do your jobs. As you know, we've been working very closely with the border governors to deploy the National Guard. I'll be seeing some of the National Guard a bit later in Yuma. But I'm just thrilled. Every governor that I've spoken to is very committed to the mission. It's the wall system. So it is infrastructure, but it's also that personnel and technology that together give us that master set of capabilities we need to protect the border. So we'll continue to work with the National Guard as we go forward. And then I just wanted to say, in terms of resources, as you know, we're going into the FY19 budget cycle. We did get a lot of funding from Congress in the omnibus, and I thank them for that. But what I will do from a funding perspective is continue to work with Congress to help them understand why it is we're asking for what we're asking for. If you look at it as a number in a vacuum, it must be quite easy to decide, well, maybe they don't need that much, or maybe they need a different pot of money. It's the context and the information that goes with that that makes it so important. So the Border Security Improvement Plan that many of you worked on and spent so much time based on your years of expertise to develop, that plan should have been the blueprint that Congress used to fund your needs and to give us the authorities and resources that we need. Unfortunately, that did not occur. So what we will do is continue to educate Congress and make sure they understand why we're asking